Okay, hey guys, and welcome to our latest art show Twitch stream. And this week we've got our special guest, Vaughan Ling.
Hello.
Hey, so thanks heaps for joining us in the stream. Really awesome to have you and catch up again. It's been a little while since we've caught up, but it's cool to hang out for a couple of hours. So
Yeah.
So I thought what we could do first is Vaughan can sort of share some of his work and what he's doing and all of the sorts of different platforms that you can get your daily dose of Vaughan on. Over to you, Vaughan, if you wanna show some of that stuff.
Oh, sure. I can save some of it for later, but basically my main thing is this heavy paint, which you can find it on heavypoly.com. And then Instagram is heavy poly. So that's me on social media is heavy poly.
And so heavy paint is a painting program that you've developed?
Yes, it's a painting program that came out of planar painting a lot. I was part of this group here in LA. We were going out every weekend and doing gouache paintings, and then I got kind of into these little phones. I don't know if have you seen these, like the Samsung phones with the pen thing
with the stylus? Yep.
So I got one of these, and then I really wanted to paint with it. So then that kind of turned into a little weekend project, and then now here I am, like almost 2 years later, still working on it.
That's really cool. I mean, you're just nuts, Vaughan. You just I'll just make a painting program.
Yep, I'm crazy. I'm a little bit crazy.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's awesome. Yeah, and so I guess it looks like the premise is it's like a really simple painting program. So it's meant to just really be about the paint and.
Yeah, it's it started with, I don't know, four or five different tools. There was no undo or anything like that until I had to figure out how to make undo and how to make saving things, and it's just been a little fun project to work on, and I kind of appreciate programs now more, because every single little thing that you take for granted is actually a ton of work. Takes forever. It's I'm going to spend a whole month on adding a favorite system or making some kind of brush inventory or something like that. Every program has it, but when you're making it from scratch, it's a huge pain. Yeah.
You realize what the job of a programmer is, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, I see heaps of people using it and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. It's been really fun to see what people come up with.
Do you sell? Actually, you know what? I haven't even. I need to download it for my iPad one. But my kids are always stealing my iPad, so I never use it.
Hey,
for
it's
painting.
good for kids too.
Yeah. No, I've got it. Yeah, they'll love it. Is it a free download or is it a paid download?
Yeah, it's free. It's free. The desktop one is free. iPad is free. They're all free, but on iPad you can buy brushes if you want. But I mean, most of the useful stuff is all free anyway. So
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been meaning to check it out for ages and download it.
Yeah. I think a lot of my friends are like that. They're at the watching with. Tentatively watching but not jumping in yet stage, but it's okay because it's not really, I guess it's not really ready to show, or I feel more and more confident in it as time goes by.
Mm-hmm.
If I look back a few months ago or a year ago, it's really embarrassing almost how things change a lot. And although actually sometimes people now, when they see it, they're like, oh, there's too much stuff in there now. It's too complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take out features?
Oh yeah.
even though there's only 5 buttons.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so obviously you've got all your Blender stuff as well, like all the heavy poly stuff and everything. So tell us a bit about that.
So yeah, that's actually sort of that was a gateway into this stuff, the programming stuff, because I was using Blender a lot and Modo and all these 3D programs, and when you use them a lot, you end up wanting to change things because there's just some things that like they're really repetitive tasks that you're doing it thousands of times. So you want to automate some stuff like that, and you would make a little script in Python, or you use programming to automate stuff like that. So that's how I sort of learned how to do that with Python for Blender. And then that kind of led into this stuff. But yeah, so the 3D, yeah, and I teach 3D stuff. I do 3D for work, and then I like to do this stuff as sort of my passion project now, which sounds opposite, right? Like usually you hear about engineers that are going into art for the passion, like they're really sick of working for the man or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the opposite here.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I totally get that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know like you've got some online courses that you do and stuff. Do you have like, can you bring them up online?
Yeah, sure.
Be really cool.
So
we'll promote all the Vaughan goodness.
So yeah, there's a class going right now, actually, term here. Blender, call it Blender Online Class, very original name, but yeah, it's great. We do lots of little mini projects like this. Can show you some of the student work here from one of the terms. Yeah, Ariel was doing really great work. Some of the students, like, they just come in and they're already like flying with everything. They just go, and it's a lot of fun. We do animation now because of Eevee, which is the real-time render engine. So it's kind of cool because this kind of animation stuff was not possible to do before. You would need like a supercomputer or a render farm to make these animations, but now the students can actually do it themselves, and I think that adds a lot of fun to it, especially for people that are into movies and video games and stuff. It's like, it brings it all to life.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, Blender class is a lot of fun.
I don't know about you, but I feel stuff's like really changing at a super rapid pace at the moment. Like, it's been fast the last 10 years, but it's like just getting out of control, crazy at the moment.
Definitely. Yeah. Especially in Blender land. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like every week there's some new crazy feature that's never been seen before type of stuff. Like, I don't know if you saw there's this guy working on cloth sculpting. Let me show you. He posts little GIFs of the stuff he does, like here, painting. But the cloth is really cool because it's a sculpting brush that allows you to make instant cloth. Let me try to find it.
Yeah, right.
Here, like this thing looks really boring, but this is sculpting, and you can like drag. Look, he drags it around.
That's
sculpting.
Cool. Wow. So it's like marvelous designing in real time.
Right. Yeah. And then he has all this rigging stuff where you don't have to rig. It's like auto rigging for characters, like this kind of stuff, which is pretty mind blowing for the character people. But yeah, it's great. There's lots of new stuff. Anyway. Don't want to derail too much.
No, it's cool. It's like super. Yeah, it's not derailing at all. It's super cool. Like, yeah, I mean, all of us here at CDW are basically getting into it as well. Like we're all kind of on the bandwagon. I know like a couple of guys here. Well, certainly Ned for sure is using all your config setup and everything for a Blender, and doing loads of stuff in there, which is awesome.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah, and then we're just sharing that knowledge with students as well, and it's just like spreading out, right? It's just,
definitely. Yeah, and I've heard a lot of studios are using it now, and even Art Center. I heard Art Center switched from Maya to Blender now
Mm-hmm.
for their like main 3D curriculum.
Yeah.
So it's like really big year for Blender stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. And so obviously you were working on Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, and do you have any
Yes.
other? Is there any other projects that you can? Yeah, I haven't even asked you what you're on at the moment, but is there any other projects that you can announce or whatever that you're working on?
Well,
Nothing NDA Vaughan, just
I think the last
just
thing, yeah. So Spider-Verse, and this is probably the last thing that I've worked on that was shown or that came out is
yeah,
this Love, Death, and Robots thing. And I don't know, I don't know if this was out last time I saw you guys. I think it was still
yeah. No,
being made.
it was still in development.
Yeah.
We may have seen some stuff, but not.
Um,
It was not there
yeah.
yet.
Yeah, I can show this one just as a little. I mean, this is kind of silly because it's all on it's all online anyway. But I'll
Yeah.
show it. I'll show it.
No, it's cool. It's great because I'm sure there's some people here that we got a ton of students and various people tuning in, so they might not
Hmm.
be super familiar with the stuff that you do.
So this shot here was a big technical pain because of the cloth, and apparently that was like kind of a big deal to get the jacket on there with cloth simulation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, a lot of these backgrounds and stuff are like sort of 2.5D, I guess you would call it, like a painting with geometry
Because
mapped
are you
onto it
just
kind of thing.
like using plane, UV mapping them on on the
Yep.
planes? Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a bunch of planes, and it can get a little bit like the models can get a little bit complicated, but like this door here is all flat, and then
yeah,
that's flat. But then there's some things that need to stick off the edges.
yeah. If you're
Um,
getting like the parallax happening and stuff, so it reads right.
hmm And yeah, so that's the last thing I worked on that I can really talk about. There's one other project I worked on. I went to Spain for 3 months and worked with a lot of the same crew that
Yeah,
was doing this one.
the Alberto.
So that yeah, with Alberto and the Spain crew. So that was kind of cool to meet all these people that I was only talking to online, and got to experience the Spanish culture. Really good food and everything. Yeah.
That's cool because that movie's
Yeah.
been announced and everything, hasn't
Wait, which movie?
it?
The one
Yeah, the one that Alberto was doing. Yeah,
oh I think that's another thing because
or was that
yeah,
after? Yeah.
he's working on another movie now, but
Hmm.
this is before that deal got done, I guess.
Yeah, cool.
So we'll see. It was supposed to be out um last year actually, but a lot of stuff happened last year, so
Yeah.
maybe this year it'll come out. Um, but no, other than that, I've been just focusing on heavy paint. Like I really want to keep this project going and make it as good as it can be. It's pretty important to me now at this point. I think it's like probably the thing I'm most proud about, actually. This is my favorite project right now. Heavy paint.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, awesome. And how do you like? What's sort of like in the shots that you were doing? The blender scenes that you were doing there. So, are you doing like all the painting and everything for that, and then and then projecting that on cards and things, and like what's the mix of like 3D and 2D and stuff? Do you just find it's like
Yeah.
it's a real 50-50 thing for you, or
I would say it's like 80% painting and 20% 3D.
mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of work either way.
Yeah.
Any way you split it, it's a lot. I can try to find some of it. Maybe if I can see. Let's see.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it doesn't really matter if you do it in 3D or you do it in 2D. It still it still takes a lot to get it to the end.
It's so much work, this stuff. But it's like paintings like this, flat paintings,
Mm-hmm.
little sticker sheets and stuff, and cutting them out and then arranging them in 3D. And actually, the painting takes a long time, and it's like lots of tedious work. um, but yeah, this gives you an idea of
That's
like
cool.
what you can separate and what you can get away with splitting off, I guess. Even the lights are just cards sometimes,
Yeah, yeah, cool.
including the glow and everything.
Yeah. Can you put the glow on like a transparent kind of layer and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like a plane with an emission material.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually shoots off a little bit of light.
Yeah.
And so it's like fake but real-ish.
Yeah. It's super cool. I mean, I've been checking out heaps of the, little Ian Hubert tutorials and things like that on YouTube. And I guess if students and stuff want to get into it, there's so many little resources you can check out to kind of learn.
Yeah.
And obviously like you got all your Gumroads and stuff as well, right? Do you maybe want to bring
Yep.
that up? Because that'd be cool to show too.
Sure.
I know we've got a ton of students that have got them. So
where am I? It's all on Heavy Poly. So
cool.
on Heavy
Yeah,
Poly, under tutorials, I have a bunch of videos of Blender stuff. But yeah, this stuff is good if you're getting started. Also, I have some free stuff on YouTube. The Ian Hubert stuff is crazy. He's like some kind of a genius. Because I like how he does things really smart. Like he's used to working on low budget stuff like the Blender feature films and like his own projects, indie projects. So I feel like he's really good at, or he's really creative at making low budget look super high budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's like so efficient and so fast, and it makes everything look awesome.
Oh, this is cool when you get the actual scene there.
Yeah, this is the
Sweet.
scene. I kind of converted it to Eevee after the fact just to see.
Cool.
It like, I guess the shadows here need to be tweaked a little bit, but
Did you even paint in shadows? Did you, or you like on?
yeah,
cards?
the shadows are painted in. I don't know why it's not showing through there, but yeah, it's something like that. Oh, oops, does my camera still work here? Oh, we still have a camera, except it's going the wrong direction. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I got to do some animation on the short. You see this door here?
Is that your contribution?
That's all me. That's all me. This door. Yeah, but it looks good from one angle, but then doesn't look so good from other angles, I guess. Something like that.
So did you originally output it in cycles?
Yeah, this was done before Eevee existed. So yes, everything cycles. Eevee would have been great because most of this is like just straight color from the texture.
Yep.
It's like not even rendered at all. It's just the texture itself. So it would have been nice.
Do you think you could have gotten away with this in Eevee? Like if it was like
I think
now?
so. Yeah, I think could have got away with some. I mean, the next project after this, we did use some Eevee in it. I wanted to use more, but actually, like for certain situations, you do need the path tracing. But yeah, you can get away with a lot. Even just like in production, just using the Eevee to do play blasts, like really nice play blasts, so you can see what the thing is going to look like, and just generally was really useful with Eevee. Yeah,
it's super cool.
So you guys are teaching Blender now?
Yeah, bits and pieces. Like, yeah, we tend to do it in like our digital painting classes and things. I think Alex, who's our main 3D guru instructor, he's still on the Maya bandwagon, so we're going to do a bit of arm twisting yet.
Yeah.
to get the full, but but no, we're certainly letting students use it for components and stuff. And I mean we're getting some amazing student results with some pieces. It's super cool. Yeah. It's really awesome.
I think homework is more fun in 3D because you can like spin around it and walk through it and sort of pretend you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Yeah.
That's great. It's really cool. Cool to see you Blender scene, Vaughan. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So, are you finding like with work stuff that you're doing? Do you do most of that in 3D now?
Yeah, I think with work, I'll mostly be in 3D. A little bit of sketching, but mostly 3D. Yeah.
Yeah.
Less and less drawing, but that's why I have this project, because I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I want to keep doing it. Maybe not for a studio. It's more fun.
Oh yeah.
just doing it for yourself. Or just like learning, I guess.
Yeah. And how much are you guys? Because I know you do like your plein air painting and stuff. Are you guys still able to head out and kind of do that at the moment, or is that sort of all locked down a bit and a bit tricky?
I can show you. We went to the river the other day, the LA River. On the down low, I guess. Wait, let me see if I can find the picture.
Try not to get arrested.
Yeah, we've been going to the river. There's a couple of the warrior painters people. Our beautiful nature, and yeah. I look like such a bum. But just testing out stuff.
Cool.
And playing around with it. And I was doing some streams, like midnight streams, for a little while, and there was a lot of Australia people popping up because it was midnight.
Good time zone for us.
Yeah. This one's got some characters in here. It's my character animation. Yeah. Oh, this one's kind of fun. So yeah, these are all Eevee, actually. Cool. So I don't really use cycles anymore because it's just such a pain. I don't have the patience.
It takes so long. Yeah.
I don't have any patience. Yeah.
I think it's okay when you're doing still thing. It's sort of especially when you go into animation.
Yeah, it just compounds when you have animation. No way.
That's cool. How much are you sort of like kit bashing the environments and stuff on? Have you just got like a library of stuff you sort of use for that, or you just make new stuff all the time?
Well, if you look at this, it's just a bunch of little boxes stacked on top of each other.
Just repeating it all.
This scene is really just like nothing. They're boxes and like cubes and cylinders with no detail on them. It's just like, the depth of field and the fog and everything. Yeah, and same thing here. I actually don't really have a kit bash library. I probably should at this point, but I don't have one. That would be smart. I need to do that. Yeah, like my whole thing is completely taken over by this heavy paint thing now. So people are probably getting sick of me talking about it, but it's just like I'm just really happy working on it.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah. It's like a really simplified little sketchbook tool, right? Like, it's cool.
Yeah, this was like I was getting my tires changed, so did a painting. People like cones. People like cones, and they like trucks, and yeah. So what about I don't even know how's like hiring going over there? Are people still doing business and everything, or
yeah,
you said it's kind of going back to normal now?
Yeah, certainly in Australia, yeah, we're pretty much going back to normal pretty soon. So yeah, it's kind of settling down, and things are kind of are going back to normal. There's I know a few of the studios here kind of like did a combination combination of shutting down for a bit, of getting people to work from home, all of those things, which I guess everyone in the entire world has been doing. We have seemed to notice that more studios, like in the States and overseas, are open to freelancing at the moment, because obviously they're still trying to like run their projects, I guess they're kind of like, well, other people are from home, so I guess it doesn't really matter where you are as long as you're getting the work done. So we've had a number of instructors and students and things kind of getting some more unique opportunities that might not have happened before, pre-COVID.
That's great.
Because some studios that were just like completely locked down, would never outsource, are kind of doing a bit of that. So it opens it up, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to change like how they do business like forever,
I think so.
Like, what's the point of being all uptight about it, And even just having, she's working at home now from her studio and doing backgrounds and characters and stuff, and they're fine. Like, everyone's still doing the work.
Yep.
Like, there's not really any specific reason to be in the office for most people.
Yeah, and I'm sure some companies will use that for a way to downsize their actual, space of their offices and pay a bit less rent and all of those types of things. So I guess with all these situations, we'll get kind of a lot of students that are like, oh, there's not going to be any jobs, because we've got COVID and all. And I'm kind of like, well, hang on a minute. There's actually, like in some circumstances, it's leading to new and unique opportunities that weren't there before and might actually become more normal. I mean, I think the whole kind of like, Microsoft Teams and Zoom meetings and stuff is really changing things as well. People don't have to travel, to LA to have a job interview or whatever, whatever the case may be, things like that. And the people that are doing the either the job hiring or the meetings are more acceptable of doing things online, whereas I think before it was almost somewhat even rude if you wouldn't go to a meeting, in person and things. You know what I mean? So
it's like socially acceptable now to do this stuff online, I guess. Which is great.
Yeah, I know. I was actually talking to a neighbor of mine last night, and he sort of said he had a meeting with a CEO of a really big company the other day, and he was like, he was just in his house in a hoodie and all this kind of stuff. He's like, it just never would have happened before. That would just not ever happen. The guy be in a suit, it'd be in the boardroom, you'd have to go to Sydney or whatever to do the meeting. Everyone else would have to be there. Blah blah blah.
Oh, that sounds like a drag.
Yeah, and now they're just like, oh, we can just do this online. And I don't think it's the fact that the technology wasn't there. It's almost like the social stigma of it, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and because we have like, even though like in Western kind of culture, we've got our own kind of weird cultural things, like obviously sort of Eastern culture has a lot of stuff that's, that then from Western you're kind of like, whoa, this is really different. But then we also have some stuff too that some of this has been like moving things online has really broken down some of those boundaries a bit, which might never go back, right? Which might never change. So
yeah, I think so. I think I'm glad because this is like my natural state, and I'm sure it's the same for a lot of, artists, people. They're always, doing this anyway. So it's great because now we don't have to feel so so awkward about it because it's normal now, right? Sort of.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, we'll see what happens for sure. Yeah, and no, all the been checking all the paintings you've been doing on the heavy paint app and stuff, and they're really cool. You're getting like super comfortable with it, you can tell.
Yeah, man, I'm testing it all the time. But honestly, there's some people out there that have used it more than me. I think like a lot more. There's one guy here who's been using it like every day, and so yeah, some people are kind of like religious about it, and it's crazy. And I think it's pretty different. Like, it's not really It's not trying to be like Photoshop or Procreate or any program really. It sort of has a different purpose and a different focus, I think. So it's kind of interesting for people that are trying to just do this. It's really good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah. Would you sort of equate it to it is a bit more like outdoor painting where you have limited tools, and you really just trying to like capture the essence of something rather than getting there with the photos and making it photo real and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. It sort of forces you to simplify a little bit and kind of, um, I guess, think about the order that you do things because there's no layers.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do stuff in order. You have to. I think it's actually helped me a lot with that because I would sort of put that off or not pay attention to it, and then catch myself having to paint the same edge over and over again because I did it in the wrong order. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like if let's say you draw a shape like, sorry, let me get the tool here. Let's say you draw a shape like this, and then you decide, oh wait, I need to change the background, and then you have to like draw that edge again, like over and over, and then it's all messy and crappy. So now I've been catching myself doing that a lot because I'm forced to use one layer. So now I'm more likely to do it in the correct order, where I don't have to repaint over and over and over like the same edge.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
like it's teaching you to make really good decisions,
yeah, yeah.
which is I think the whole thing that just speeds up like people's painting process, right? In general, whether or whatever process it is just the better, more like smart decisions that you make, the faster you are at creating whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's like I
yeah.
remember seeing like Rob Ripple do a demo. He was just like painting really slow, but then all of
Yeah.
a sudden within 3 hours it was like an amazing painting. Like, how are you doing this? It's just because
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, just not making many mistakes.
he's a wizard. There's even actually, on that note of not making mistakes, just a throwback to the original version. I added this back into hardcore mode, so now it gets rid of undo, redo, and the eyedropper. So
No, that's awesome.
no undo here. I'll see if I how long I can last, and no eyedropper too. Oh, and another thing too, like the first version of this was RGB
Hmm.
color, and you know this I feel like is closer to mixing paint because you
Mm.
have your three colors or whatever, and you're just changing the amount of each color.
Hmm.
But so this was something where it kind of helped people to train their color mixing ability and semi translates into real life versus the HSV doesn't really matter. Like this is going to help you at all for actual painting.
Oh, that's
and
super good that you said
and
that. I think that's like the
yeah,
biggest thing. Yeah.
yeah. This one also does not help you with real painting. So yeah, this was the first option and the only option for a long time, like for months and months, and there were so many people who were like, "What the hell is this RGB thing? Like this doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. Give me hue, give me hue
Yeah.
slider." And I resisted it for so long, but finally I was like, okay, fine. If I want people to use it, I should probably add in um, HSV at least.
As an option
Yeah.
for the non-hardcore user.
Yeah, and then now there's people that are like, you know, what about lab color or all these weird esoteric color formats? I'm like, what are you talking about? But now I'm curious about those because these guys are like, how RGB it gives you so much control versus HSV. Well, lab sliders are like even better than RGB. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I should check it out and see. Um,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's one of the things when you go from painting a lot in Photoshop to doing some traditional stuff with actual paint is the color mixing is like you're just like, oh my god, like how do I get the color like in Photoshop? I just move the thing and make it less saturated, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Okay, so I have a trick for anyone who's afraid of RGB sliders in terms of saturation. So um so like let's say we have a color here that's really strong orange. Wait, let me turn on color jitter. So we have a strong orange and we want it to be, or actually, yeah, we want it to be less saturated. So to be less saturated, we just got to get these three and like kind of scale them and squish them closer together. So I'm going to bring the orange in and the blue in, and then it's less saturated. Or the red in and the blue in, and it's less saturated.
yeah.
Until we get all the way down to gray. And then with just that, I'm like, okay, well, saturation is no big deal now. You just,
Mm-hmm.
like, the farther apart it is, the more pure the color is. So you just got to like squish them together, and then it's not saturated anymore.
That's cool,
Sorry
boy.
to
No, that's awesome. That's
interrupt
awesome.
you.
It's good little tip. Yeah, because obviously, like when you got the color wheel, the middles, when you mix them all together, it's grey, right? And then as they go further apart, they're more vibrant.
Yeah. I gotta figure out what I did wrong. There we go.
We've got a question. Do you still use Photoshop, Vaughan?
I don't. I don't. I think there's still Photoshop in here because Michelle installed it on my computer, but I don't. I don't use Photoshop.
So what do you do with
But
work?
I'm not.
Are
I'm
you
not
ever,
really a painter though. So
yeah. Are you ever like painting textures and stuff for 3D work?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well, actually, okay. I guess I shouldn't say that I don't use Photoshop.
okay, so you use
I
it for
I
that stuff.
I will use it for that sometimes,
Yeah.
but yeah. I've used this also for work for production stuff.
Is that just because you're getting
But
so used to it?
I think it's honestly faster for some stuff.
Hmm.
Like it's kind of very streamlined for painting certain things. Um, I'm doing a really bad job of explaining what I'm why this is good, but it's good. Uh,
No, we got to get everyone out there using it. Get all the students onto it.
I think it's really good for learning actually.
Mm.
Like it's very simple. There. Oh, the other thing that's kind of cool is color jitter. So like it's kind of a thing where it's about priority of things. So I know a lot of programs have color jitter, but I think that color jitter is like a first class setting that should be at the front because I don't know, it's cool. It let me try to find a brush that can actually use it. So you can do, like variations in your color a little bit like that.
Hmm.
Or you can say, no, I don't want any variation. And I think that, I mean, that's something that as a painter I would want to have like always there. So kind of, I
And
forgot what I was talking about.
well, when you go outdoors and you are painting with real paint, do you try and replicate that as well when you're painting?
Definitely, like that's one of my favorite things is like color, like kind of loading your paintbrush with a bunch of different colors. So then when you do a stroke, it comes out all kind of streaky.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, let me see if I can find it. You know what I'm talking about. When paintings like they have little color variations in the
I totally know what you're talking about, but I
strokes.
want you
Like,
to show it.
let me see if I can find it. Um, yeah, I want some variations in the within the strokes even. So that's the idea here. To have some color like built into the strokes, actually. So you could take any picture really and stick it in here and do all sorts of weird stuff. And then there's also like some tools that I always wished I had, like just even something simple like this, like a fill type of a thing where you would just draw. Let me see, fill. Just drawing shapes of color. You know, because most programs they you kind of have to draw an outline first. You know, like you draw an outline and then you fill it. But I think that's kind of redundant. Like it should just be one step, like that. You know, and it seems like a little thing, but if you're doing a billion of these little shapes, it adds up real quick. You know, it's like half the amount of clicks.
Yep. That's cool, and you could like block in kind of paintings really quick with that.
Yeah, and then you know, on building on that, what if we had this kind of a tool here that's like a gradient? So with this kind of a thing, you can say that you want a shadow here in the corner, like a shadow underneath this shape here. And you don't have to do any masking or anything because it's kind of like you're drawing the mask as you use the tool. So it's like just trying to find little things like that where the tool kind of works in a way that's efficient with painting, or just making certain shapes that you want. Or let's say, how about the same idea, but what does the opposite of that look like? You know, like the middle is transparent and the outer edge is solid. Or what if there's just a texture that's stretching around the shape? Or you could say, I'm going to change that texture to be like a rake type of a thing. Or so yeah, I'm just like having fun experimenting with different kind of shapes you can get. Like these are all the same tool here, but with just with a different texture, and you get a totally different look out of it. So anyway, this is kind of I never I should this is not as interesting to other people as it is to me.
You should definitely put this one on Instagram one. No, it's really cool. Yeah, it's cool seeing all the features. I'm sure there's a bunch of people on here that haven't tried it before. So yeah, it's really cool. And yeah, hopefully they can give it a go. Yeah, I've been kind of getting back into like just drawing in my sketchbook a bit lately, just with pen. I'm always telling students to go and do it, so I was like, you know what, I just need to do this myself. And you know, yeah, it's you get into it and you kind of like, yeah, I remember this was fun. You know what I mean? You kind of forget sometimes. Yeah,
that's true. I haven't drawn on paper in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember doing this. This is what got me into doing this in the first place. That's right.
Yes, art.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I feel sometimes that's what happens with Blender, right? You kind of like, it's like a rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden you're just like, now everything, and then it becomes like kind of you're just so reliant on it. It's like everything I do, I've got to have, you know, cloth sim and Ivy generator and, you know, like all the stuff. And then sometimes you're like, you know, you can just like paint this. You forget you could paint it in half the time.
Yeah, you get lost in it for sure.
It's not a bad thing. It's just, I don't know, feel like every now and then you got to kind of like, you know, just do a little systems check on yourself, you know, and just do a bit of painting or do some sketching or whatever. Just keep keep that
W-
happening.
Would you say students are getting more and more into uh, like these other kind of tools,
I
or
think
or is there any enthusiasm that's like leaving just regular drawing, or what, or is it about the same as it always was?
I think what um the problem, if it even is a problem, is that students see so much cool stuff on ArtStation and things now, right? So there's so much stuff online that you see, and I think the problem is you just want to get to that point too fast. So like back in the day, we sort of like didn't have these tools, so you kind of had to learn the like traditional way, and then like you had to kind of do the steps to get to the point of being able to use 3D and stuff. But now it's almost like Blender's almost like the gateway into art, if that makes sense. And then people are
Uh,
like not even doing the kind of drawing and painting as like a step. So then they kind of are sometimes not able to do the pictures they want to do because they just don't really have that. It's not even the fundamentals. It's just like that kind of like a method of learning that they kind of missed out on. Does that make sense?
yeah. You miss out a little bit.
And
It's skipping
yeah,
some steps.
yeah, and it's kind of like
uh,
it's kind of like then they wonder why they can't like paint up a city or draw, do things or design a thing or whatever the case may be, right? A lot of times I think it's because they're just like kind of skipping ahead a bit too quick into the technical stuff that makes things look cool, but you didn't really know why it is cool or how it
yeah.
was cool. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
I think so. You heard that, guys? You heard that? No, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I remember totally doing that too when I was in school. I was always hounding my teacher and saying, "Oh, can we learn Photoshop? Photoshop's so cool. I want to." And she was just really stubborn about it, and she just like, all of us were every single day bothering her about it, and she'd be like, "No, no Photoshop," which is, I guess, is pretty good. Like she's very very strong about certain things like that, um, and I'm glad because I mean I kind of ended up just learning Photoshop on my own anyway on the
Mm.
internet or whatever. But like, yeah, it's good to take things step by step. Do things in order. It matters.
Yeah, and I think that's getting really difficult now. Like, I even think about like Caitlin, who's my 11-year-old daughter. I mean, she does stuff in Procreate. I'm just like, I didn't even know how you did that. Like, what did you like? Show me how you did this. It's just like, oh yeah, I just watched this YouTube thing and blah blah blah, and I could do this, And so like, I think it's just happening so young now that it's like once the genie's out of the bottle, it's kind of hard to undo it.
I mean, it's cool though, because I think like people will be so much smarter now because if they want to learn something, they can, like so easily. I mean, not easily, but they have access to everything, so it's great. It's awesome.
It's super cool. I mean, there's
They'll,
pros
they'll,
and
they'll
cons,
go
right?
they'll
Yeah.
they'll go way farther than anyone before them, right? Because
Mhm.
they'll just be faster, stronger, better, faster. um, yeah.
Yeah, it's and I think that yeah, I think there's pros and cons to it both, right? Like, and I think that's why all this like kind of 3D blender. I mean, you look at like the Last of Us 2 stuff that's coming out at the moment. It's like not one sketch happened. Like not one brushstroke was harmed in the making of Last of Us, right? Like it's all just like every technical thing that you can possibly do, and it makes the images look amazing. So obviously, like when you're starting out, that's what you want to do, but it's like all of those guys that are doing that can also just like paint and draw and stuff as well,
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain that. It's hard to explain that to a 12-year-old. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
your students aren't 12 years
No,
old, though.
I'm talking about my kids, but yeah, but no, with the students, yeah, it's just I think sometimes they're just reluctant or they're even scared of doing some of that stuff. Where it's like it's going to look shit, it's like it's actually going to look crap, and they don't want to make it look bad, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to do is make things that look like shit. Because I mean, I think that's a good point though, because that fear of shit is really bad because it'll keep you from doing the stuff you need to do.
Hmm.
Because the stuff you need to do will look like shit.
Yep.
Pretty sure, I'm
So
really bad at being motivated.
yeah, but it's like, how do we? It's like, how do you? Because you kind of, it's like 10 years later, you know this stuff, right, Vaughan? But when you're in the moment, it's really hard to want to do that, be motivated to do
I
it.
don't think there's any way to tell someone or to make somebody listen to you. Like they have to figure it out for themselves
Hmm.
by going through it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I know I never listened to
No,
anyone.
me neither. Yeah. I think everyone's the
But
same, right? Yeah, you just,
yeah,
and then after a few years, you're like, I really should learn how to draw cubes. It would be
yeah.
helpful. It's helpful to know perspective. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But yeah, anyway, yeah, we're getting sidetracked, but that's okay. That's the whole point of this stream. Yeah. So yeah, if you guys have got any questions, let us know, because we'll just keep rambling on about stuff. So, so yeah, sing out if you got any burning desires. Of we got Vaughan here, so for another 30 minutes or so.
So how long have you guys been doing the stream for?
Not too long. It's like a fairly kind of recent thing. I guess it's like a bit of a COVID, thing. Like we kind of
Yeah.
have wanted to do it and dabbled a bit, and we did some stuff ages ago, and then kind of stopped doing it because we had like a kind of, the space wasn't very good for it. But
Mhm.
yeah, now just trying to get back into it. So yeah, each fortnight doing a stream with Tim, and then on the alternate fortnights trying to get a guest in now to talk to. So I think you're like the third or fourth guest that we've had on.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so it's really cool, and just trying to cover like a whole range of different topics, and yeah, show everyone, all sorts of different things that are going on, and yeah,
Yeah.
just art. I don't know. The more art we can get out there, the better, right?
I like how you say fortnight. That's cool. I'm not used to that. Is that for wait, that's just weekly or
Every
Wednesday?
second week. Every second week.
Okay, every second week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
American school system. But yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Fortnight, every
Yeah.
fortnight.
Yeah. Not the game. Not the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yep. So yeah, every second week, just yeah, getting a guest on, and just and we really want to try and do more. Trying to do more streaming. Yeah, as much as possible. Just heaps of stuff. There's so much stuff to go over. I'm always like, I'm always doing a stream. I'm like, I want to show you this. I want to show you this. I want to. It's like
Yeah.
so many things. Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome.
How's the hobbies been going since COVID? Like, have you had more hobby time, or has it been more work time?
No, it's, I mean, the school in general is just growing kind of, out of control. We're spiraling out of control, Vaughan. Too many people. Yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, it's keeping me very busy. Yeah. But
How many people
that's
are over there now?
it's good not to talk about it.
Okay.
We have like we have about 110 first years. So yeah, so we've got like,
Wow.
300-ish full-time students at the school now.
Man,
Yeah. So
that's pretty serious.
yeah, and then we split people up into like a 2D pathway, 3D pathway, VFX pathway, and animation pathway. So
Do they decide they decide that like before they even join in, or do they kind of figure that out once they're there?
figure that out once they're here. Yeah, we're working on that at the moment as well. Yeah, so we're trying to like, which we try and give students as like a real big broad range of information right at the start, so they can start trying to work out what it is that they want to do. Because a lot of times people come in and they're like, I want to do art stuff, but I don't really know what that entails, or they might kind of think it entails one thing, but then kind of actually showing people like what a 3D animator is, or what a rigger is, or what a visual effects artist is, or compositor, concept artist, children's book illustrator, just trying to show all of those roles so that then the students can kind of start making an informed decision of what they actually want to do, rather than us kind of like forcing them into, you know, an area. And then I just hope at some point that it evens out, Vaughan. And I put the faith in the students, and it's kind of doing that. So, you know, when we first started CDW, you know, we were just 2D, right? We didn't really have any 3D, but then, you know, as we kind of move forward, building more 3D into the course, and now we've got a lot more students that are doing the 3D pathway, you know, that's leading to a lot more jobs. And now we're kind of, you know, starting to really build the animation pathway and the VFX pathway. So, you know, trying to give people like really heaps of, you know, loads of different options, and you know, because there's a lot of different careers out there, right? And we want to make sure that people are getting into the right thing they want to do.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to cover. I'm imagining a student like coming in first year, then it's like so much stuff. It might be like overwhelming to see everything, you know?
Yeah. Oh, not. It's not. I think it's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. But we you know, yeah, we just try and work that out and guide students through the best they can. And people are not always going to make their final decision straight away either. I mean, you know, sometimes this stuff takes 10 years, right? Working out what you want to do, and then in 10 years you might change your mind. So I always let students know it's not the end of the world. This is just the pathway you're on at the moment.
Just the start.
Yeah, because I'm sure you were kind of like you never knew you were going to be like a blender person doing stuff in
I
3D.
no idea. I think more and more I embrace that, like, things are going to change. Like, I like that now. I like the idea of, you know, throughout my life, maybe I'll do 5 more different things. Who knows? You know?
Yeah.
I don't feel like anchored down to anything really. I guess that's kind of opposite of, I think a lot of people like stability too, though, like where they follow a path and go like as far as you can go on that one path, which is pretty cool too, to like test yourself, I guess.
I did I've been reading a bit about like some of that kind of stuff where they're sort of saying that society is changing a little bit now, where we no longer kind of have career jobs, you know, where people aren't kind of just graduating at college or university and then becoming an accountant for 50 years and work at the same firm and all of that type of stuff. Like, it's becoming more socially acceptable to even change career paths after a certain amount of time and things. And I think for, you know, generation that's certainly below me, that's becoming like more of a acceptable kind of thing. It's like you didn't fail at something, it's just you changed your mind.
Yeah, that's true. I've been noticing a lot of people doing that lately, popping up, like, you know, engineers, or I don't know, theater actors, and like all sorts of different people, just deciding to try art or moving out of art or whatever. So I like that. It's good. Cross-pollination.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like with everything, pros and cons. Yeah. So we've got a few questions. Hey Vaughan, do you still have spots available for your Blender online class?
Yeah. Well, we're you know, halfway through the current term, but next term will be August. Wait. Yeah, August. So check. Yeah. If you go on the heavypoly.com, there's I think you can sign up for email updates on there.
Cool. And we've got another question. How long can you design for? Say you're working on a project, like 1 to 2 hours, or that's sort of the question. So I think they're kind of asking, like, you know, when you're designing stuff, can you just keep doing it all day, or you just can do it for a certain amount of time, or what's your sort of process, Vaughan?
Well, I get tired a little bit. I'm definitely not really a workhorse guy. I mean, although I really was when I was in school, I would work like nonstop every single day, like 24/7 almost, just live, breathe, eat, art, no life at all. That was my school life. But these days I'm a little bit more tired, I guess. So I can't really. I don't have like the mental stamina to do it nonstop. But yeah, that's a good question. It is very tiring, like designing, because you have to come up with new things and almost. I feel like now actually I almost prefer to do work that's not design related, just because of that reason, where it's a little bit more relaxing and less mentally taxing to kind of like do a painting or just craft something instead of trying to come up with something completely new.
Hmm.
So yeah, I definitely think design is hard in that way.
And do you find that when you're doing like client work that you're designing a lot, and then when you're doing the heavy paint stuff, that's sort of like your downtime, just yeah, painting and doing fun stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, heavy paint. This painting part right here is just the treat that I get after I spend like a few weeks working on a feature or something. So I guess like making the program and programming it is sort of the design part, and it is very like you got to think a lot to make sure everything works and checking things and but I really do get sucked. I get sucked into the process and kind of get lost in it.
Hmm.
Maybe that's it. Like with design, if you're in the zone really and you're like totally lost in it, then it can go pretty fast. But I have definitely had times where I'm working on a project and I'm not so sure if I agree with the design or if like I agree with the project or like if anything like that is going on where I'm having doubts about it, then it goes much slower. But if I'm fully on board and I'm into it, I can go for a lot longer time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's good. Yeah. So where do you find? Do you always just looking around on Instagram for your photo refs and stuff? Is that how you generally do it,
Well, I can't
or
I
just
can't
whatever,
go
wherever?
outside and take pictures that much anymore. But, I try to do my own photos, but
Yeah.
I don't have any photos of these cool boats. So this is my new thing right now. I like the boats. I'm gonna try to do a couple of them. See
we,
how far I can get.
we had one recently in Australia where the containers fell off
Oh man.
like out in the ocean, and it was like a gigantic shipping container. There was probably like double the stack that was on this one here. And
Whoa.
it was just, yeah, you should find some photos because it's just amazing. There's just all these like containers just half hanging off. They're all sheared open. Like all of the
Oh.
contents went into the ocean. It was a
Oh
pretty
my
big. It
God.
was a pretty big deal, and it was like gigantic. And you're kind of like, how does this thing even stay afloat? Like, how does this work? I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Because it'd be
I love
so
it.
heavy. Those things would be so heavy, but they're just, yep, they're afloat in the water. I don't, yeah. Engineering, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, engineering. That's crazy. What's that ship called that
No, I
sank
can't
or
remember.
tipped over?
I can't remember.
All right, I'll look it up. In Adelaide? It happened in
No, no, it
Adelaide?
was in Melbourne. Melbourne.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Melbourne. Yeah, somebody just said, "Don't remind me. One of my work supply shipments got lost off that."
Oh man.
So
I
yeah,
hope it wasn't anything
no, there
too
was
big.
there was like a lot of people's like packages, that like they bought stuff and they didn't arrive and things because it was all on the all on this shipping container.
Damn, is that like all of Australia is on that one
Just
ship?
all of Australia's iPhones were on that ship. Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's funny.
And Apple's like, no more phones for you guys.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh, I would
Um,
like
uh,
to go on a ship when there's that artist named Theo Prince. Have you heard of
yeah,
him?
yeah, yeah,
Theo Prince.
yeah.
And he had all those photos. Like he actually took a ride on one
All
across the
right.
ocean
Yeah,
and was doing paintings like from
that's
the
awesome.
bridge of the ship and everything.
That's cool.
So cool. Anyway,
I don't know. They kind of scare me, those cargo ships there. Yeah. I don't like it.
You wouldn't want to go visit one
Yeah, I would
just for
go
a
and
day?
yeah, I'd go and visit one, but I don't know if I want to be out in the middle of the ocean on one.
Oh yeah, probably not. That's too hardcore.
Yeah.
Me neither.
So you got any are you obviously without revealing the contents, are you working on any cool projects and stuff at the moment?
I'm full time doing heavy paint
Cool.
for for um yeah, so I've got my schedule completely clear for this because
Cool.
this is like the thing that I'm really excited about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So
yeah,
so what are your goals, Vaughan? Like, are you just wanting to develop the program further, or what's
yeah, I want to keep going. I want to keep it like alive and keep it going as far as I can.
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that there's still a lot of stuff I want to do with it. So I definitely don't feel like it's done or anywhere near done. But so I want to keep going. I mean, maybe next year, hopefully, I can maybe start thinking about um, marketing or something like that. But honestly, right now, I'm just working on it, like kind of head
Mm-hmm.
down, and trying to make it awesome. And yeah, but I think of it as like a long term project. It's a passion project.
That's cool. Yeah, it's cool to see like what some other people have been doing in it and stuff. People are doing some really cool paintings in there.
Hmm. Yeah, let's look at some of the paintings actually, because that's kind of fun. Um, some people like will do things that are way. We're at 8,900 posts so far. We're almost there.
That's cool.
But like, yeah, people have been doing characters.
Mm-hmm.
This is with the new brushes that were like oil brushes that I'm working on. Kaijun stuff. I don't know if you guys were doing any Kaijun, that challenge for like monsters.
No, we haven't, but yeah.
And then, oh, there we are. And then, yeah, this is, let me try to find some of my favorite ones. God.
We got a question about the when will the latest version be available on Androids and not just desktops? By the way,
Soon.
soon.
Working out bugs, but yeah, should be soon. Hopefully in like 2 weeks or so.
Vaughan's got his team of 25 people out the back working on it right now.
Yeah. Get back to work, everyone. They want it on Android. But here, like this one's pretty cool.
That's cool.
This guy's going nuts with it. Mark Simonetti was doing some.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, and actually over Christmas, Ian McHugh did a couple, and that was
Nice.
pretty exciting.
His stuff's so cool.
Yeah. So it's extra weird. It's kind of weird, and to see these guys use it, because I'm like, wow, never would have imagined. And the tools are like kind of really basic and rudimentary, so it's a different style from what you're used to seeing from these kind of guys, you know? Like
Yep.
usually their work is very polished or just different, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is Mark.
There's still got a fair bit of detail in there.
Yeah. Um, I love this
Well,
one.
that's cool. Yeah.
Crazy. All the
Awesome.
colors. But yeah, there's some really amazing artists using it, just like lurking around. And
Mm-hmm.
let me see if I can. Well, Ian's stuff is probably like too far back because it's from
Yeah.
Christmas, and he posts a lot. So
Scroll through 300 posts to get there.
yeah. But yeah, sorry I don't have too much news going on other than this. This is like kind of taking over my life right now. I'm uh, I'm really enjoying it though, and I think I don't know. I sort of go through phases where I get I get restless, you know, and I want to try something new. So I think this is my project for now. This is my little new thing, and then I'll probably get bored of this at some point, and then want to go back to doing freelance work or something like that. But
Yeah.
this is just like my cycle, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And I think everyone goes through those, right? Where you're sort of really interested in something and then you kind of have enough of it and then you do something else again and then loop back on it later on.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. Maybe can you bring up some of the paintings you've done on your Instagram? Like
Yeah.
that'd
Sure.
be cool, I think, especially now.
Let's see. Um, boop, 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 boop. Let me see. Oh, these are the Spain crew here. So yeah, I've just been doing a couple boats lately. Um, Testing
That
out these
was cool.
new brushes. Thanks. Really simple, you know.
So go back to the other one, Vaughan. The yeah. So we're using some of those like rake gradients on the hull there.
Yeah, yeah. Those are rakes with the texture on the rake, and
Mm,
also the rake gradient here, like
mm,
this highlight.
yep.
Um, that could have used a shadow, maybe like a gradient shadow rake. But that actually the gradient thing was kind of a breakthrough, because then before that everything was like solid and chunky colors, and then
Mm,
after that came out, everyone was doing really soft and like ghost type of things.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this is cool. It's cool.
Ship
Little
breakers.
people in there.
Yeah, trying to do my mug. Uh, this is Walter Everett study. Um, oh, succulents. I don't know if any of you guys are into succulents,
It's cool.
but our apartment is getting filled with plants now. um, oh yeah, figure drawing stuff.
Nice.
This guy Julian, let me show his. He's been doing lots of figure stuff with heavy paint.
That's cool.
Yeah, and has like a little replay thing. Um, yeah, so I just want to get yeah, people to use it and try it out, and because I think it's really different from a lot of painting programs, and it's pretty fun. And I want artists like I want people who know what they're doing to do things, so I can show it on the on these presentations, so I don't have to, you know, look at my own work. I'm sick of my own stuff.
Oh no, it's awesome, Vaughan. It's cool.
Thanks. And he has a lot. Yeah. Oh, this is RJD2. This guy, I don't know if you guys know RJD2. He was like doing all these YouTube live streams uh, during quarantine, which is really cool.
Yep.
That was a really fun thing, like seeing all these famous people that would never typically do this kind of a thing.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, they're super bored at home and they have nothing better to do. So they were all like streaming. So that was really cool. Like, and like Tom Green was doing streams too, and
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. There was heaps of
all,
people
the,
doing stuff. It's
all
cool.
these people.
I
Anyway.
feel that that's sort of died down a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, probably. They're
Were you doing the figure drawings just from photos or live?
photo, everything. Yeah, all this stuff is
Yeah.
photos. Um, I really like these 100 years of photojournalism series photos. It's like this book with really great black and white photos. And I've done studies of a good portion of these. Wait, is this the one? I don't know. I like doing these black and white ones. They're pretty fun. The Jaguar, the silk cut Jaguar.
I think somebody was saying they were doing some stuff in heavy paint on Carl Kapinski's stream yesterday.
Oh, really?
Was Carl using it, or you were just uploading stuff to Carl?
Was that on YouTube?
Don't know.
I'm spelling this wrong. All right, I'll check that out if it's on. I guess if it's on YouTube or Twitch,
We'll
I don't
see.
know where he does his stream at.
We'll get some. Oh no, they were just saying that he should try it.
Oh,
so
okay.
There you go. You got people upselling for you, Vaughan.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you what's your I got a sort of a question for you. At the moment you're just developing this piece, like what is some of your keys that you'll think to get it refined?
Well, I don't think I'm going to take it super far. I want it to be sort of the same level as those other ones where it's still in the realm of getting bang for my buck time-wise, you know? Like, I don't want to spend too much time on it. But for me, let's see, what are the most important things? Probably I'm definitely missing the tugboat and like this little thing in the middle. But I want to save this thing to the end, you know. So again, doing things in order.
Is it because it should be more in the foreground? You mean? Or
yeah,
in front of the other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely want to save it for the end. It's more satisfying that way too, because you like putting off that satisfaction of putting in the little line all the way to the end, and when it finally happens, it's so it's so satisfying, you know.
It's like, okay, I'm done now.
Yeah. I should do these cubes. I mean, maybe a smarter way to do the cubes would be like you could have a rake. Sorry, not a rake. A rect. So this tool, rectangle, it basically just draws a bunch of little squares. But if you put the color jitter really high, then you'll get all these different colors. So maybe I just do that if you're feeling lazy. And you can kind of put it in the range that you would want. Like a low range, maybe less. But I don't know. I'm trying to work on being a little bit more free with this stuff because I tend to be very, I guess, uptight with paintings in general. So I'm constantly trying to loosen up and remind myself to not be that. You know,
it's always hard to be like, okay, I've got the reference here and I want to make it exactly like that, but then I've also got the painting and I want to make the painting good, right? This is a constant battle.
And I'm always leaning on the side of, oh, that doesn't look like the photo. Let me make it look like the photo. But now I'm trying my hardest to resist that urge and say, you know what? I made it look like the photo and I like it better before. So we're going back to how it was before. You know, like accuracy is not king, at least for this exercise, hopefully. So I'm fighting my instincts, you know.
Yeah. That's cool though. That kind of stuff is hard. It's like when you're in figure drawing class and the model's got her hands in a certain way or whatever, but it looks really bad, you know, because of the foreshortening of what's going on. It's like, well, do I draw them so they look? Yeah. It's like, do I draw them so they look horrible, or do I draw them so my drawing looks cool, right? And I think that people should always err on the side of making the drawing cool because no one's ever going to see the model again. All they're
Yeah.
going to see is your drawing.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, the struggle is real.
Yep. 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 Um, I don't know. It's taken me so long to work on this like specific thing. I don't know because I know that I need to work on it, and I know that's like a weakness of mine, and I just still can't get over it. I just keep repeating the same mistake over and over, you know. But I figure if I just keep telling myself that for long enough, then maybe I'll get over it, you know. But at least I know that it's something.
Hmm.
I'm watching it. I'm looking at it and keeping an eye on things.
I think that's why art's kind of fun, right? Because there's always like a battle that you're kind of fighting against or learning from. So it never becomes like easy, uh, you know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Back boxes aren't really lining up at all. uh,
It's cool though. I kind of like the colors and stuff. It's cool.
yeah, not too bad.
I think it's almost like kind of a lot of times we get the you know, me specifically, I'll get kind of students coming to me and being like, "Oh, I'm really worried because like, you know, all the students in the class are all like so much better than me, and you know, I don't know how I'm going to go in the class or whatever the case may be, right?" And then I always tell them, you know, that I've had 12 other people in the class come to me and say the exact same thing that you just said. Like
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
in the class is so much better. Like everyone internalizes that stuff differently, right? It's kind of the same thing we're talking about here.
yeah,
It's like it's you. Everyone always thinks their stuff is like no good.
yeah, yeah. That's part of it, actually. I mean, I've said this like this is my theory. My stupid theory is that a lot of the best artists are actually like that, where they continually sort of beat themselves down, and that's like sort of their superpower
Mm,
of how they get so good is because they're always kind of shitting on themselves. I mean, it sounds unhealthy, and might be a little bit unhealthy, but the side effect of that mentality is that you push yourself harder and you might go farther than someone who's like, oh, I'm fine. Like, don't need to worry about it,
hmm.
like, even people like Craig Mullins or Jamie Jones or all these people, like they're constantly shitting on themselves and their own art. And
Yeah.
of course they're amazing because I think partly because of that I don't know.
I think it's to do with your self critical eye and your self analysis. So like I think if people tend to because we've got a lot of students, right? So I see the range of people's personalities all the time. And I think if people are like kind of quite happy with what they've done, they tend to not work quite as hard, whereas and it also like affects their taste as well. And I think that when people are really self critical and have a good self analysis of their work, then that does push them to new heights and boundaries. And you're right, sometimes it's unhealthy, right? But it also makes you really good at art.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a catch 22.
I think a little bit of it is good. A
Yeah,
little bit is good,
yeah,
but too much can be get a little crazy.
yeah,
If you're like yeah.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. We've got a question for one. How did you first get involved with the Love, Death, and Robots project? Were you approached, or did you approach them yourself?
Well, I had worked with that crew through my whole career, so that's like maybe the third or fourth time. So basically, Alberto he got this project, and actually at the beginning it was just me and him and our producer Jenny Rim, and we met at her house and we were talking about like what are we gonna do, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna start a studio in Spain, and then he just flew over there. They did construction. They rented out a space and hired a bunch of people, and then that was it. That's how they operate, which is really great. Um, so yeah, I'm very lucky to be kind of around that group for a while, and yeah, so that was that. But if you're asking about like how do you get how do you find jobs, I guess, or maybe that's not the question. Never mind. I won't try to answer.
No, no, go for it. Go for it. I think so. I guess in your case, that was sort of like a networking type of thing. You know, you build it up over the years, working with some of these people, and then it just kind of evolves, right? Where you know more people and there's more opportunities, and they start asking for you and stuff. So I suppose that's how those opportunities happen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like you. I mean, you know them and they know you, so it's obvious. Like they're they're much more inclined to work with someone they already know. But then that's a catch 22 because how do you get in if you don't know if they don't know you, and
Mm-hmm.
like how do you get your foot in the door?
So
And
so go on, answer that, Vaughan. You were about to.
okay, well, I guess this is kind of a lame-ish story, but I was using this thing called Blogspot, and there were a lot of great artists on Blogspot on the internet. So I was talking to a lot of the guys and commenting on their works, and just pen pals type of thing online. As I'm sure a lot of everybody here has, online artists that they talk to, and like your online group of friends, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so that's it. One of my Blogspot acquaintances. We actually weren't really friends at that point. He just knew me, and like he knew my work, and he just emailed me and said, "Hey, you want this job? I I have this job, but I need to leave, and I need to find someone to replace me. Do you want to do it?" And I said, "Yeah," and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But I, I guess that it's a given that everyone is posting stuff online now, right? Like everyone in class right now has Instagram and has ArtStation and everything, right?
Yep. Yep.
So I think the the kind of good and bad thing is that when your work is good enough, it should just kind of naturally happen by itself. I think,
Yep.
because I have had horrible luck with applying for jobs. I've never been accepted. Even when I go back to like applying for jobs at the supermarket in my hometown, like nobody ever accepted any of my job applications ever. So I have this kind of net bias against it, where I think I'd rather spend time just working on my work and making something cool, and that'll probably get me the job. Where, I mean, I don't know, that might be different. Different people will have different experience on that, but for me, the only way I've ever gotten work is by doing a cool project on my own, um, like making a cool spaceship or something, or some self-directed project, putting it online, and then people might see it and be like, "Oh, that's interesting," and they call you up. And actually, I think it's really good too to do like weird projects, almost like sometimes projects that are not really part of, maybe not necessarily in the vein of what you're gonna work. I mean, actually, that's a dumb advice, but I would say like whenever I got called into these jobs, it was usually for things that were like not what I expected. You know,
Mm.
like I got a internship at a car company, and they were like, you know what, we really liked that boat project you had in your portfolio. We didn't care about any of the cars you had. You know, we just saw that cool boat, and it's like, how are you supposed to, like, it's like when you try to find something and you can't find it, but then it just pops up randomly. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. It's uh, sometimes the people that are looking at portfolios, they might be really, really sick of seeing the same thing over and over again. That's like gear directed at them. So sometimes if you throw them like a wrench or throw them something unexpected or weird, then they might be like, oh, what is that? You know? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like ArtStation's going to be flooded with Last of Us 2 fan art for quite some time.
Oh yeah.
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 No, but that's good. I think, I mean, they're the two key things, right, Vaughan, is like getting stuff online and networking, and that's just what you do, you know? Even like, applying for places, that's kind of networking in itself, right? Sending your portfolio with a cover letter and trying to find the art director and all that, that's all just networking.
That's true. That's true. You end up like, at least they know who you are. They like know your name at least, and you know their name. So
yeah,
that's good too.
Yeah. But I think everyone has a different preference to exactly how they want to do it or what they want to do. But I think, they're the ways to do it. Just get your stuff online and, talk to people, meet them. Try to make a good impression as much as you can. And
is there actually anyone in school now that says like, I don't want to put my stuff online because I don't want people to see I'm embarrassed, or I don't want people to steal my ideas or something like that?
I think the hesitation sometimes will be that I feel I'm not ready to put stuff online. So, like a student will be like, I don't like my work as much as I should, so I don't want to put it online yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're kind of like nervous about getting it out there. But we're normally like, don't worry about that. Just put it up. It'll be fine. Yeah. It'll be fine. But, because they're like, well, what if I do something and it's not very good and then it gives me a bad name? And I'm like, no one remembers that stuff. I don't know, unless it's something really offensive or something. But I don't think art directors kind of go like, oh, your stuff 3 years ago was really bad and I'm never going to hire you,
Yeah. No, actually, I think it's really cool when you see an artist sort of developing online. Like you can see their progression. And especially when you see artists that are like starting off from scratch and then they're sort of like really grinding hard. That's something really impressive, actually. When you see somebody on Instagram every single day, they post a new painting or a new something, and you can actually see their improvement in real time, is really cool. And I think that like catches a lot of eyes.
Yeah, and even before you said that, I was going to say I actually think it's kind of the opposite. Like, as in, if people see you improving that much, that's kind of like a plus, right? Not a negative.
Yeah, definitely. So
all right,
this person has grit.
Yeah, so I think we'll sort of wrap it up pretty soon. We've got, if anyone's got any last questions, please let us know. There is a question about painting technique. Is it necessary to use a pen with tilt or rotation feature, Vaughan? What do you think?
Well, I mean, my pen doesn't have tilt, so I don't know. It's fine.
So no.
I used to be all about the tilt.
Did you?
I was like a tilt addict, but no, I don't know. I don't. I haven't
heavy paint has changed you, Vaughan.
Yeah. The way we do tilt in here is like this. We have rotation, and you can choose like what type of tilt. Well, anyway, it's that, like, since there's no pressure on mobile, there's like other ways to get pressure type effects. Like, let's say the value, we can say by distance or by speed. Like the speed of the stroke will change the value.
Right.
So, or like the distance away. I guess that's the same. A lot of programs have that, but like distance away, that kind of a thing.
That looks kind of like a Procreate there, that type of thing.
Oh yeah,
where it does that. Yeah.
I see.
That's cool.
Yeah. Tilt is cool. I wish I had tilt. I'm too cheap.
There's something to work on how to program that one.
Yeah. Add tilt button. Go.
You're just like, no, I'm not doing that.
Too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. Thanks for
Alright.
joining us, Vaughan.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Simon. Yeah, it was fun. Fun
That
to
was really
chat.
cool. Yeah, good to catch up again. And yeah, for anyone watching the stream, check out all Vaughan's, like heavy paint, heavy poly, blender, all the stuff you got going on. It's really cool. So yeah, I know lots of people really they really dig all the config setups and all the kind of stuff that you've been doing in the community. So it's really cool. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for using the stuff, guys. It makes me happy because I spend like all this time working on it. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah, cool. We'll have to like implement it in a class form, and then we can like send you all the results.
Send me the bugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Cool.
right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Thanks, guys, and yeah, we'll see you next week in the stream. Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.